The Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir. The Rap Roundtable is back with another edition, another rendition, another installment of the vaunted lunch hour. You know, we only do these lunch hours when things happen or requests are made. And in this case, things happened and requests were made. We dropped the short, you know, and within the comments, it was like, yo, I was hoping he was going to go live. Yo, I need to talk about this. I got to expand on this. So here we are going live. It's your boy Jav here alongside to say the Rap Snob, alongside Macito. Dini's on the clock, can't make it, but you got the three of us. We are locked in, and OVO, Drake, litigations, certain requests being made. It's a total mess. You know, hit the like button, hit the subscribe option, hit the notification bell. We need 5 likes on each and every video. We're trying to get to 23,000 subs. We at 22.1. So hit the subscribe option. Shout out to everybody who locks in with us. Shout out to everybody who supports. Shout out to T Mac off the rip with the 2 super chats before we even got on the air. Salute to that person. We love it. You know what I mean? But with this situation, this is one of those unique times where I don't even know where to go first. You know, I'm really confused about this whole situation. But I feel like
you see me.
Yeah,
I'm trying to hold my words in.
I
feel
feel like Macito, just based on the chat, yesterday's comments and today's chat so far, we got to go to Macito for this situation. And Macito, I'm going to ask you to just reset the scene, let the people know why exactly everyone is upset, and then follow that up with your thoughts on the situation.
We upset because we recently got an update in the UMG Drake case, right?
Another one.
Yeah, a crazy update. So within this update, Drake's legal team is requesting a lot of things, right? I guess I don't know if this is official discovery, you know what I mean? I'm not a super court guy, you know what I mean? Y'all can let me know. But it's just a call for specific evidence, specific things that can be relevant to this case, right? A whole lot of things, about like 90-something different items, right? Within them, they include, you know, what you would think, communications about Drake's a contract amongst Lucian and his cohorts, you know, conversation about, you know, whether there was what money was put into Not Like Us, all type of things. But the thing that's most inflammatory, right? That's why we here. The thing that's most inflammatory is that within these things that Drake is asking for, he's asking for a conversation pertaining to the paternity of Kendrick's child, his son, the son that Drake spoke about in Family Matters in relation to Dave Free, asking about that, right? Asking about conversations about Whitney, asking, you know, because they already received Kendrick's contract, right? You know, that was asked for before. They received it with many redactions. They're asking for the contract back with no redactions. They want to know everything about Kendrick. They even want to know what parking tickets he got. You know what I'm saying? So it's amongst that, the paternity, they also asking about Kendrick's criminal activity, asking about, you know, it's a whole lot, you know what I mean? So a lot. With that being said, right, Jovson, if y'all feel like I missed anything super crazy within the discovery that Drake is asking for, y'all step right in. But
I'm assuming the criminal activity you're referring to is the domestic violence allegations.
Right. But actually, Sin, no, thank you for that. They're asking for specifically about the domestic, the DV allegations made within Family Matters, but they're asking about completely separate any type of conversation about Kendrick's criminal activity, period, in his life,
in general.
Yes, in general. Other than that, you know, asking about, you know, conversations about, you know, the shooting at Drake's house. I don't know if they want to know if Kendrick was involved. A lot of things, right? Whole lot of things. So a lot of people want to know. Listen, I'm sorry to let you know the OVO fans down, the OVO stands down, but I can't. There's a part of this I can't co-sign. I want to say I feel conflicted about this amongst the OVO embassy, right? Obviously, nobody can co-sign, you know, bringing, you know, the paternity of Kendrick's child in this, bringing Kendrick's wife into this, into the courtroom potentially, right? I don't understand what he's trying to do there, right? I don't know how that pertains to. Actually, I do, right? UMG basically said, you know, we don't know if Not Like Us was true within the last court proceeding. So Drake, within that is now saying, okay, we're going to see if everything is true, but I still can't co-sign that. That's nasty to me. That's why, you know, Stin and Jarv, y'all were amongst the loudest. Yeah. Y'all got me, fellas. My fault. That was my screen messing up. Y'all were amongst the loudest saying that, you know, why is Not Like Us in this, right? So within bringing Not Like Us in this, you now are bringing the battle within to this, asking about what the allegations are back and forth. So I cannot co-sign that. It feels nasty. It makes me a little nauseous to be a Drake fan this morning, having to explain away that. You know what I mean? I sent the classic Popeyes, I'm tired gift to the fellas when this news came in. So it feels nasty, bro. And I understand, you know, every Drake fan want to talk about, what about if you a PDF? What about if you know, why, you know, how can somebody say that about him and him supposed to take that? Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Man to man, I get it. You got to clear your name. But this is nasty, bro. This is nasty. I don't listen. Worst case scenario, right? We find out that Dave Free is, you know, this. That's nasty, bro. That's not nothing that the public needs to know. That's not nothing that should be out in the public. So I'm going on record. I can't agree with that nastiness. If Kendrick and his wife went through their own specific issues, then listen, you know, that's for them to deal with. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that should be, you know, listen, imagine Biggie taking Pac to court about smashing Faith, bro. We would be disgusted 30 years later. You know what I mean? So I can't, that part of it feels nasty, right? I can't lie. I am interested in these documents because now they're asking UMG all type of things. They're asking UMG what were they talking about, you know, with Drake's contract. They're talking about what was going on with the botting activity. Listen, I'm interested to see what comes out of that, right? You know, call me nosy. It is what it is. But I feel a little nauseous and a little weird this morning, feeling like, damn, Drake, like, you took it, you know, I know a lot of the Club Paradise guys are defending it. They are. But it feels a little nasty this morning having to explain away that aspect of it. Yes, sue UMG. I'm down for the fall of all record labels, bro. Yes, whether it's Kevin Lyles, Leor Cohen, Julie Greenwald, all of them, Lucian Grange can go. But if we need this aspect of it to be a part of it, then I can't co-sign it. It's nasty.
Yeah. Sincere the rap snob. The floor is yours.
This is gross, man. This is it's a travesty, a mockery of what we hold dear. This is a perversion of 50 years of hip hop for it to come to this in the biggest, most high stakes battle that we've seen thus far. For it to have landed here, this is a perversion of the culture that we hold dear. The fact that it was already bad enough up to this point, right? And this is where I can't see what Drake's possible endgame could be, because it's like he keeps doubling down on the nasty word, right? We keep saying, yo, this is nasty work, this is nasty work. But then the next time that a story comes out and he updates the lawsuit, it's twice as nasty. It's 3 times, it's 5 times as nasty as the nasty work from the last time he updated it, right? Involving Kendrick's children. Now, I want to pause here for a second and address this, because and I've seen this point being made on Twitter and around the internets, where I guess Drake fans are like, oh, but you know, Kendrick can address Drake's son in a song, you know what I mean, in Meet the Grams, but now Drake can't address Kendrick's children, and it really boggles my mind how people cannot tell the difference and draw a line between a song in a battle and court papers and documents and a lawsuit and bringing this to essentially to in front of the government, you know what I mean, in front of the judicial system. You know what I mean? That step, how people cannot differentiate between, you know, a rap battle, a battle of wits, you know what I mean, and of artistic expression, and then bringing it now in front of the judicial system, in front of a judge, and in front of essentially, you know, the government. You know what I mean? It's disgusting to me. It's gross. Like Mace feels nauseous. I'm you know I'm beyond that at this point. It's crazy to me. Then the domestic violence allegations that and he wants to put that in the court papers as well. And to me, I guess what Drake is trying to do is just prove that he's right, prove that he was like right in what he said in Family Matters and whatever other, you know, songs he put out against Kendrick. And he I don't know, I guess he wants like, you know, something official, something like a piece of paper he could show the public, and because he feels so unfathomably hurt by the fact that hip hop as a whole, right? His fans aside, because his fans are going to be his fans, but hip hop as a whole, by and large, took Kendrick's side in this. And I know he feels hurt, and he's still going through all those stages of grief. And you know, and he wants that official document that says, "You see, guys, I was right." But at what cost? At what cost are you going to be able to prove how right you were? You know, by bringing this in front of a judge in our judicial system. Like it's such a huge step to take for such what I feel is small reward, because by the time this whole process is done, and let's just devil's advocate, let's say on the slim chance that, you know, he was actually right about and correct and truthful about the things that he said about Kendrick. You know what I mean? At what cost? Like, this whole process is going to leave the most sour, terrible taste in everybody's mouth. Like, nobody's going to care at the point where he gets to say, if he gets to say, "Look, I was right about this." Who's going to care?
Right.
At that point, like, you've crossed so many lines, right? And that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, it doesn't calculate in his mind, like, all the lines that he's stepping on and crossing to get to this end goal of his, which is basically just to prove that, you know, to prove that he was right about something. You know what I mean? Or at least try to get to that point. And it's so nasty. It's such a, again, it's such a mockery of this culture. Like, imagine Jay. You said imagine, you know, Biggie and Pac. Imagine Jay asking Columbia Records for documents stating factually when Nas in fact did see his first tech. Imagine that.
Show me the
Like,
Tabo class I was in.
Show me the conversation. You know what I mean? When Nas said, "Yo, Jay showed me the first time." Like, Drake doesn't seem to understand that, like, this is it, at the end of the day, everything is just going to be public opinion. And he lost in the court of public opinion. And now he's trying to win in an actual court of law. Nobody, I guarantee you, nobody's going to care if on the slim chance he actually ends up winning anything in the court of law. Nobody's going to care. This whole thing has jumped the shark so many times over, and he's depleting his image and his aura day by day. The more that he carries this on, Drake, I plead, just drop it. Right, this whole farce of, "I'm doing this for the artists, and I want to take the record labels down because they're all corrupt," and that, out the door. This is absolutely, you're bringing actual children, actual families into this. You're bringing in all of these nasty allegations that is, at the end of the day, none of your business, right? Cut the shit, man. Just, I beg you, just drop this whole thing, because I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. Well, Sincere the Rap Snob, not even so much angry, but he's just, it almost sounds like you're disappointed at this point. But I guess that's the best way to view it.
because I'm past the anger. I'm past the anger. You know what I mean?
For sure. But the thing that's, and real quick, as you guys are here pulling in, we about 336 in, but I only see about 80 likes. Hit the like button, people. Hit the subscribe option. Hit the notification bell. Run those numbers up. Hit the like, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We at 22.1K subscribers. Let's get to 22.2K subscribers, please. Hit those buttons. Don't be stingy. It's very free. We ain't asking you to go in your pockets. We just saying do the free things. So make that happen for us. This situation, it's kind of comical now, and I want to make it clear that we are not condoning any form of domestic violence or anything to that nature, to where like we quote like a rapper so much that we will see past a certain thing, because that's an angle that people like when they want to make obtuse arguments. Also, it's okay for Kendrick to allegedly, etc., etc. No. We don't condone any of that. But the issue that I have with this is that the longer this story goes, this lawsuit scenario goes, the more the target of said lawsuit continues to move, right? Remember when this first thing came out months ago? It was about going against the man. Remember, Mace Tito and I got into it, and I was like, you can't play that going against the man angle, whatever. And that was the thing. Oh, like the labels are playing nasty games. This is not about Kendrick. The labels are playing nasty games, and they did something very nefarious along the way to where it aided Kendrick in victory. It's not about Kendrick, but Universal played dirty to aid Kendrick. That's the angle that I remember when this thing first hit the fan. And then I remember saying in response, well, even if you're suing UMG for their nefarious acts, allegedly, in defense of Kendrick, you're still by proxy suing Kendrick. Now we've lived long enough, thankful to God for that, to where you're still bringing Kendrick into the fold. This whole thing has been about Kendrick the entire time. And that's the thing where it's like, we go back to Not Like Us. Hey, Drake, we're not slow. And it's like, we told you, everybody peeped it in real time, but we waited for it to play out to where now you can't even hide it anymore. If you're bringing in situations where he allegedly put hands on his lady, his child is not his, right? What does that have to do with Universal's situation? What is it really about? Because at the end of the day, what you're trying to do, even beyond the rap lyrics, is prove that Kendrick Lamar is not the guy that y'all think he is. No matter how you tried to go around it, because you wanted to take you still wanted your hip hop card. But what I'm taking from this is, you'd rather win if it means blowing everything up along the way. Yeah, that's where we're at with Drake now. We're gonna take the whole thing down, including me, because hip hop don't want me. My music is coming out, and I'm not getting a casual fan like I used to. I'm getting, because I'm such a megastar and I have so many fans that I'm always gonna pop a number, but I'm not getting those 4-week number ones, 5-week number ones, drop to number 4, drop to number 7, bop back up to number 1. His last single came out and it came in at 23 with Central C. So we can see that there's a real decline as far as his impact goes when it comes to singles and things of that nature. So when you lump all of these things together, it's like, bro, we see it now. You want to. Oh, he's what the coach is feeling. Oh, y'all like this guy. Oh, y'all push me out the way for this fraud. I'm gonna show you that he's a piece of crap, just like y'all think I am. And I wish he would have just done that from the rip, so we can expedite it the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. Because what's gonna happen now? Because I'm gonna play both sides of it. Since I see you, I'm gonna play both sides of this argument. Let's say now we're gonna start here. You want to bring Kendrick down super bad. What if all the information comes out, right? And everything that you think happened or you thought might have happened comes out that it's not true, and you were dead wrong in your lyrics and in your allegations. Then what? So you're willing to be a bitch? Because that's how niggas gonna look at you. The whole world outside of Club Paradise, the OVO crowd, they're all gonna look at you like a bitch if it comes out that everything that you alleged or you're complaining about is not true. You actually speak to a manager, bro, and then you say, "Oh no! I'm not talking about the employee. I'm talking about the policies. Whole time it was the employees." It was the employees.
Yo,
They Kendrick.
dead ass.
Like we talk about paternity tests. And the thing is, and I'll leave it like this before I pass
Yo.
it back to Sin. Kendrick himself, if memory serves me right, a year ago, say, yo, let's keep it rap. Kendrick came out and said there's no big three, it's just Big Me. He ain't say you was the Lucian Gage lapdog benefiting from late label steroids. He didn't even put he didn't jump in front of nothing for Pusha T years ago when it was reported years ago that Drake was blocking songs from coming out because Pusha was dissing. He kept it rap. And Drake immediately was like, it was almost like he said, the minute this dude even fixed his mouth to say something to me, I'm going to blow him up. Because he was threatening him from the time he dropped the first song with the whole Taylor Swift thing. And you don't want to, I could really, basically, I don't remember the words verbatim, but essentially it was, I could air you out. And the whole time he was waiting for Kendrick to say something so you could talk about Taylor Swift, you could talk about Whitney, you could talk about Dave Freed. It's like, why, bro, if bro ain't come at you like that, why you came at him like that? Just rap it, bro. And even if you lose, again, Drake don't understand and thinks he's so out of touch with rap and hip hop because he probably never really, but I can't say that because he really loved his shit. But at some point, your fame, your success, you kind of get drunk and that happens. This is a real thing. Yeah. But if Drake would have just rapped and lost, we wouldn't be here right now. I mean, if he just kept it very simple, kept it rap and then kept it moving, he would have got more respect from the people who don't like him for just keeping it rap. But you took this route and now you're complaining about it? What's going on? Go ahead, Sin.
I just wanted to add to like what you were talking about earlier about like the chart placements, the songs not really hitting the way that they were before, and I think it's more than just the chart placements. Now, obviously, you know, chart rankings is important to Drake and his fans, but it's beyond that. It's there's no real excitement around his drops, even really on the internet, in the clubs, the DJs. That aura, that euphoric feeling, God, no pun intended, but that euphoric feeling that people had when there was a new Drake drop. It was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Run to the club, run to the dance floor, run to the radio to hear it. You know what I mean? The DJs running it back, you know, Flex dropping bombs on it and shit. Like none of that shit happens anymore. You know what I mean? And he's seeing that, he's feeling that. And you know, yeah, we could argue like and say that like, all right, you know, Drake has the aura has kind of been slowly declining, you know, the last few years. But look, when we're gonna point, you know, down the line, 5 years, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when we look back and say, yo, when did Drake really fall off? And remember to you know, just to draw the line here, remember when we realized, okay, Wu-Tang is not as strong as it used to be. Why? What happened? Summer '97, Puff and the family came through. The whole culture shifted and changed. Now it was shiny suits. You know what I mean? So when we look back on this now, even though we might feel like, oh, okay, Drake, you know, might have been, you know, tapering off a little bit. What we're gonna look at, the definitive moment we're gonna look at is, yo, Kendrick came through and got the boy up out of there. You know what I mean? And that's the story that's going to be told. And I think he's realizing that his music isn't hitting so much charts wise. It's also not hitting culturally, right? And his legacy now is a little bit in question. You know what I mean? Even look, me as not being a Drake fan, before this, if I were to look forward to you know, sort of see what his legacy was going to be, yeah, he was going to go down as one of the greats, one of the goats. Like the hits, the feeling that he gave people when they was in the club, like, you know what I mean, all the features, all the collaborations, all of that, you know what I mean? But now his legacy is looking shaky, and the more that he can, this is like such a self-destructive path, because the more that he obsesses over this, it's an obsession at this point. It's an obsession. He can't move past it, right? And the more that he obsesses over it, the more he is degrading his future legacy. That's why I'm telling the bro, like, you know what I mean? Even as not being one of your fans, like if you can at all look forward to see how this is all going to end. Even if you're right, you're going to be wrong. You know what I mean? It's at that point now. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Mesito, your thoughts on what we had to say, bro?
Listen, I'm gonna stall the legacy talks for now. You know what I mean? Because it is hard to erase. You know what happened, and also the I feel like what this does more than hinder Drake's legacy is bolster Kendrick's legacy. If you want me to be honest, to me, this is the thing, right? Because you guys are speaking about a lot of worst case scenarios musically, right? And commercially. And my thing is this, right? What if Iceman, he's now put himself in this position with this court case. And as a fan, I feel like I can speak objectively on this. The thing is, if Iceman is his best work since 2015, since his peak, right? If his next single is Hotline Bling plus God's Plan and goes #1 for 15 weeks in a row, if he comes back and is rapping like Scary Hours 3 and has the hits of views, right? He's put himself right now in, now it's all asterisk is on everything, right? So even like you say, Sin, this could be the fall off musically and commercially, but it could not, right? But even if it's not, at this point, you always got this shit hanging over your head. So it's always going to be nasty. It's always going to be something you have to explain. This is worse than the ghostwriting, because that's the precedent for this is the ghostwriting, right? As a Drake fan, you've always, I'm speaking to y'all right now, you've always, no matter how good the music was, there's always that nigga in the back of the crowd screaming, did he write it? You know what I'm saying? You've always had to deal with that. And there were slaps after the ghostwriting rumors. He won the battle after the ghostwriting rumors. What a time to be alive dropped without after that, right? But there was always that, you know, that shit hanging over the head. You can pause. You can't say Drake is in my top 5 without, you know, somebody saying, ghostwriters, did he write it? You know what I'm saying? And now that's the point, right? That even if he, you know, in the face of all the adversity, comes back musically, commercially, is killing shit. Now you got to explain the nigga who sued in a rap battle, bro. The nigga who got Kendrick in court while he's on tour. The nigga who's asked for paternity like he's Maury. So it's like, that's the hardest part to me. That even with more victories, because yes, the streams are still there, guys. He's still #1. You know what I mean? The tour is still moving. He's still selling, yes. But this is what we talking about, right? Just like I said with Esso, he didn't mention no music. When am I gonna get to have a whole conversation about Drake's music? It's your fault right now, Drake.
And it's like with the tour and everything. Again, this is, and you make a strong point, because he could just, if this guy would have played this right and been smart about it and not been an emotional wreck, drunk off his own success, he could have just lost to Kendrick, dropped a fire album. Then when you think about it, like what Drake is officially what? You told me about Drake, what year was that? 08, 09?
09, yep.
So we a year 16. He could have easily transitioned his L into drop the news album to get into his legacy act back. You know what I mean? Because at this point, 16 years in, he, for better or worse, the voice of a generation, he really could have just threw his hands up and said, I don't got to take this shit from y'all. Like, all right, I lost, bet. You know what I mean? Shout out Kendrick. But I did what y'all thought I couldn't do. And now I'm going to get my legacy act back, because at the end of the day, my catalog, outside of the people we love from our era, but folks love to bring up verses, he's the most dangerous player in any verses.
Listen,
you know, song for song.
Motherfuckers would have been dropped that greatest hits project.
Easy.
Like 2 or 3 of them by now.
Easy. He fumbled this so bad on so many levels to where you've somehow, I won't say he got around it, because Mesito made the point about, all right, that guy's in the back. That guy would be Dini in the back saying, yo, but did he write it? But he somehow circumvented that just enough to where you couldn't call his character into question too much. But now with these acts, you've brought your character into so much question to where the first thing we're going to think of going forward is, all right, new Drake song, it better be fired, because if it ain't super gas, it got to be, he ain't drop a 9 or a 10 on the scale since this thing hit the fan. It's been a lot of 7s. He probably, like Nokia, if you do a baseball reference, Nokia was a double. It wasn't a home run. He was hoping Central C would be a triple.
Yeah,
Looks like it was a single. You know.
And if I could add to that just real quick and hand it back to you, it like I can't honestly. I'm at the point where I can't tell if the songs are not as good, or if there's so much Drake fatigue and there's so much of this other shit with the court case and everything that's
it's public perception,
bringing him down. That the songs are cool, but like it got to be like the most astronomically amazing song that I've ever heard in my life to counteract.
Put himself in that position. It's just like
all this other bullshit. To be like, what did I miss? Like it like the second week, what did I miss? It came through, and I was like, oh, this is heat. You know what I mean?
That beat is
at the beginning. You do be like, ah, man, here we go. And I'm the fan, bro, so I can't imagine how y'all feel.
But this is why I keep going back to my point about the perception wars and the casual fan. Because I'm gonna put it on wax right here, you know? In an alternate timeline where he don't fumble the bag and become an emotional wreck, drunk off success, I'm gonna keep repeating that line. What did I miss is the quintessential Drake banger. It's not 0 to 100 or a chart smash, but that is a banger. Like the beat, the way it comes on, like them horns and everything in the front of that. He do his little singing that his fan base likes, and he's talking a little bit. And he's being victim-like, but talking shit at the same time. That is a quintessential Drake record. But because of the fact that he's kind of lost the casual fan, the people that's in the middle, we always do this by political aisles. The people who are in the middle, not the staunch Drake fans, not the staunch Drake haters, the people in the middle who don't give a shit about none of that. If it's hard, it's hard. They'll listen to it. Those are the people he lost. And Drake fans keep trying to punch me over the head when I say that, but it's like, look at how his songs are doing. Just because it gets to top 5 off the rip, he's Drake. It's going to be top 5. Well, 3 weeks later, 5 weeks later, 6 weeks later, 1 month later, where are the songs, the new songs? The old shit, his Spotify numbers are still great because they love the old shit. Nostalgia is still a hell of a drug. Hello? Right. They're going to listen to that. 0 to 100 still go crazy. I remember the other day I was watching Key and Peele, and then they did the whole skit when someone was president of the United States and he was dapping up all the black people, and they started from the bottom night we here. And I was like, oh shit, that's another banger. Like, you don't even got none of those right now. Yeah. So it's like he's in a situation where he's in a creative rut. He's not hitting home runs, but he's in a spot now where it's like, this, to me, this is poorly timed. This news coming out. Because to me, he's trying to build momentum for Iceman. But then again, you do this and you lose the casual. Because the casuals don't want to be bothered with no bullshit. The casual fan don't want to open their phone to see this guy wants paternity information about his rival's child. Are you kidding me? Like Biggie, again, to use Sim's point, if Hov was like, he called me a typo hoe and I just box, right? That's where we at now. And I'm suing Columbia for letting him put that song out. So you suing Nas? No, Columbia shouldn't have put that out. They aided Nas in his success with Stillmatic and all of that. Like, whoa, buddy, you're suing Nas. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of exhausting, man, because it's like you keep shooting yourself in the foot. And then people is like, oh, Kendrick didn't have to play the PDF line or card when Drake went low. But it's like, who are you to say how a person should react? Certain people, you can't play with certain people a certain way. Like me, if I see you trolling, I laugh at trolls now. I troll back, right? A person like Kendrick, he a bit of a crash out, so he not gonna move in a rational way. If you out here, and let's say it's true, and maybe his response came from an emotional place too. You cannot play with certain people that way. Because if you saying that I did this and I'm a bad person and I beat on women and I'm living a whole lie, I'm a fraud, you calling him a cuck, low key if you think about it. Because you want your managers fathering your children, you call them a cuck, right? What do you think? What do you think Kendrick is gonna do in that response? If you go low, I am not a sane person. I'm gonna go lower than you. The man made a whole therapy album. What rapper fearless enough to make a song about transgender lifestyle? My auntie is a man now. You think he's not gonna be afraid to go in the mud right next to you? He's gonna go lower than you. You gotta know who you playing with. You can't go to the drunk dude in front of the bodega and I don't think he don't got the knife on him and you try to play with him. He gonna poke you. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Like Drake, at every point of the situation, Drake has moved in a way where it's like, you really are a stoop kid. You gotta know your opponent. You think when Beans was running around dissing D-Block, he ain't know them street niggas was around the corner? You got to know your opponent.
Facts.
This dude, like, you moved in a certain way where it's like you thought you had that. And that's why, to bring it full circle, I'm going to go back to Mace with this. The whole time Drake was operating from a position where I could say whatever I want to say. Uncle Lucian is going to protect me like he has with Pusha T. I'm going to get everything I want to get off. I'm going to make him look crazy. I'm going to call him a loser. He not popping it on his own label. And he's a cucker. Y'all support this guy who's a woman beater. And I love the ladies. Y'all know Drake loves the ladies. And Lucian's going to block all of these diss responses from coming out. That's why he could say drop it, give me 50, because it's like he thought it was never going to come out. Meanwhile, Universal's like, this is the biggest thing after one of the worst years creatively in rap history, especially one of the worst years commercially in rap history. You think we not going to agree like this music, dickhead? The fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But, Macito, I say all of that to say this, because we got to talk about it. What does the world look like if the litigations reveal that Kendrick is, in fact, beating his lady? Is not the father of his child and that's Dave Free's kid. Where do we go from there?
Listen, I've thought about that, right? And there's a couple things, right? Because that's what I like to call myself a member of the embassy that just wants the songs to be good. But there's members that, are really behind this, are really like celebrating, what people have thinking evidence of this happening back in the day, and the comments in Whitney's IG. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not that, into QAnon with it. But if it is true, right? Sin kind of made the point, right? Like, it's not any sort of victory. It's a victory to just Drake, just the fans, but I have to be consistent. Sin, I know you hate the whataboutism, but I'm practicing it, okay? I have to be consistent. When we spoke about the PDF claims, and you remember people saying, how can y'all talk about Drake in the moments where it was at its most inflammatory, and people were like, Drake did this, Drake does this with dogs, Drake does this with kids. Real weird times, very weird times. I said then, you have to be a sick person to wish this was true, right? That's what I felt at the end of the day. Whether you hate Drake or not, whether you want Kenny to win this battle or not, if you hope these allegations are true, you're a sick person. So I have to keep it consistent. Like, if you're a Drake fan and you're happy to find out that a woman got hands put on her by somebody she trusted, you're a sick individual. Through and through. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those kayfabe guys that is hoping they both was just lying on each other, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just like when battle rappers say they got a gun as big as Bow Wow that'll blow you back to, the North Pole. I was hoping it was shit like that going on. I don't want this to be true. So in the instance that it is, I don't think that it will matter much for a few reasons. Whitney and Kendrick are still a happy union, at least to the public, right? This is supposed to have happened over a decade ago. So if the public is to, this isn't a, Chris Brown, Rihanna situation where we find it out in real time. This is something that seems to have been something that them as a family have figured out on their own. They've had multiple children since then. So it's not something that you can hold your hat on and be like, well, this girl is suffering. I don't think you can make that inference, even if it is true. Listen, bro, like, that's nasty. Like, people thought I was caping, but at one point I was like, I wish he didn't mention Adonis and Meet the Grams. I feel the same way about Kendrick's son. Why does Kendrick's son have to go to school and find out that he was in court documents with his dad, with his mom, with his, that probably is godfather, Dave Free, as far as close as Kendrick and Dave Free are. So I feel nasty being a father, having to think about a child being involved in this situation over a rap battle, even if it isn't over a rap battle, guys, even if it is about Lucian. It's nasty that a man is bringing a child into a court case because he wants a big contract. That's nasty. So to me, even if it comes out, it's like, where's the victory? Where is it? Listen, you mentioned Drake not being nuanced to cultural things, right? And it's been clear since forever, since the Rick Ross, DJ Khaled days, we've known this, right? But it's like, I don't think Drake realizes that you know, other than internet trolls, nobody is thinking that you're a PDF. I don't think we discuss a man who we thought had these allegations here. So nobody really thinks that, right? But what happens when we joking? We exaggerate, right? So if you got a light Caesar, I'm gonna call you bald headed, right? Drake, you have, you know, video evidence of you having a 17-year-old on stage. So instead, I don't think you was, you know, touching kids, but I'm gonna call you this. I'm gonna exaggerate. I'm gonna call you the worst thing. That's cultural, ain't it? You know, when you joking on somebody, you gonna drag it to the worst you can ever drag it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that he's even missing that part of it. I think he was so caught up in the moment. We know he's an internet guy, so caught up in the internet comments of the trolls of the dark Kenny world and his comments calling him this, that it got to him too much. I'm sure if he'd have took a year, if he'd went to Turks and Caicos, you know what I mean? Like somebody said Drake introduced him to Turks, you know what I mean? I was at Lotto 21. You better check up for that. You know what I mean? So he could have went to Turks and Caicos. He could have went to, you know, Colorado and the slopes somewhere. If he took a year off, I think he would feel less offended than he was feeling in June 2024.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. I Mace Cook. I want to add an extra layer to this. Because if you look at the timeline, when Scary Hours 3 came out, when fall of 23, right?
Yep.
Fall of 23,
Yep.
right? This was Drake basically being like, here, damn, you know what I mean, on some KFC shit with the wedges, you know what I mean? Because we, you know, the hip hop community, not his fans, not, you know, not people in the clubs, not you know, the, you know, everyday partiers. You know what I mean? It was us. It was us. It was the Joe Buttons. It was the Funk Flexes. It was, you know, the Demis, the Curtis Kings, everyone, right? Company Man, everyone. We were all like, yo, man, could you just give us like one straight rap project? You know what I mean? Just one. And he finally gave in and gave it to us. And it was fire. And we were all saying it was fire. And then, well, what was it? Probably like 6 months later. What happened? Kendrick came through. You know what I mean? Started off the battle. It unfolded the way it unfolded. He ended up getting called the PDF. And everyone that's not a Drake fan pretty much agrees that he got his ass handed to him in the battle. And not only did he lose the battle, but in such epic form and such such an embarrassing form that now, you know, at every Kendrick show, including the Super Bowl, the man's getting called a PDF. And I'm sure, I would be willing to bet all my thousands of dollars that I have in the bank, because I'm a thousandaire. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. You know, I haven't moved past that stage. But
Pusha would be disgusted.
Pusha would be absolutely horrified. But I'd be willing to, you know, to bet all my savings that Drake is like, yo, what the like? I gave these people what they wanted. I gave hip hop what they asked for. They wanted me to rap over Alchemist beats and conduct the beats. I gave that to them, and they said it was fire. They were happy with it. And 6 months later, they're all going to turn on me for this guy? Nah, burn the whole shit down. Not only am I taking Kendrick down and UMG down, fuck it. This hip hop shit is a farce in his head. This hip hop shit is a farce. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? I gave hip hop what they wanted. They still, everybody, the entire culture still turned on me 6 months later. I burn it all down. And that's what we're witnessing right now. You know what I mean? It's there's a code of conduct. Oh, you can't go to court in a rap battle. Watch me. I'm not gonna adhere to these cultural norms and cultural rules anymore. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? Because that man is hurt, and he's not hurt just by, you know, fans. He feels, you know, hurt and let down by the culture itself, the culture that he finally agreed to give the culture what they wanted, and, you know, he still feels like like the entire culture turned on him, turned their backs on him, and ended up calling him a pedo in the process. So I'm sure this is what's going on in his head. And it's at this point, to me, it's sad to see. You know what I mean? This is, in my wildest imagination, as much of a, as much as I was not a Drake fan, and there was like, aspects of this in his personality and in his music that I could tell he was this kind of person. I still didn't, I wouldn't have thought paternity, Maury vibes in court papers. Like, why does that even matter? You know what I mean? Why are you so concerned with that? You know what I mean? Why are you shoehorning yourself into other people's family business? Is it because you never got to, build that type of family for yourself? Is that what's going on with you? Like, let us know, man. Like, why are you so concerned with other people's women and families? It's bizarre to me. It's absolutely bizarre.
It's bizarre, and to me, it disqualifies anything. I mean, the litigations are going to happen, but once they really start to sit down in these courtrooms, and do remember, I think that there was a request for him to take the stand as well. If memory serves me right, Mesito, am I accurate in that? Wasn't there a request for Aubrey to take the stand?
I seen when you said that. I didn't see. He is called as a witness. I don't
That's
know
crazy.
what that means. Yeah, if that means to stand, that means to stand. But I didn't see, specifically what was going on. But I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Right. I mean, if you're the one pointing the fingers, right?
Right.
But it's like at this time, you can still love Drake. We have this she's been here in the past, and she's fighting hard. Tracy G, OVO, Goat Cole. Your throat is real busy in the chat, but it's like at the end of the day, it's just about morals and ethics. And if your fandom supersedes morals and ethics, when again your guy is the one who brought the mudslinging to the table, right? It's not like Kendrick woke up one day and said, "Do you think Drake is going to rap about Dave Free potentially being the father of my kid and me abusing my ladies?" Because that hasn't really been in the news like that. There's not. Kendrick is walking around here allegation free for the most part. Maybe it was a situation like Mesito, who lives on the internet in a way where Mesito's surface level is his beneath the surface plausibility to find things out. There's only a handful of people who really operate that way. But most casual observers, the people in the middle, who I'm always talking about, they don't know anything about Kendrick putting hands on his lady. I didn't hear about that. I'm not the staunch Kendrick guy. Sinners, I don't think Sinners ever heard that. So, but once you decide that you want to talk about a man's family, the same way with Pusha T, you brought up that man's fiance, now wife. What did you think was gonna happen? So it's like, for you to be a fan and you in the chat spamming messages when your guy is the reason you're here now, is he's not being picked on. He opened the can of worms. What Hov said? Don't bark up the tree or the tree will fall on you. I don't know why your boys didn't forewarn you. Like, if you're gonna play messy, and you learned this lesson in 2018 with Pusha T, we would have thought that's another reason why I thought he would handle this battle way better. You learned the lesson of salaciousness, muscling with guys who are lyrically better than you. You're supposed to improve your strategies. You did the same thing again. And now y'all here saying, oh, he did this and he did that and he did this and he did that. I'm over it. I'm completely over it now. I don't got as much to say as Sin or Mesito. I'm gonna just put it to you like this. Whether it comes out and that is true, everything that he rapped about is 100% accurate. In the words of that, there's a scene in The Departed. If you know that movie, is a scene where someone's like, "You're a fucking cop." That's how I'm looking at Drake. You're a cop. You are a fucking rat. I don't care how right you are. You're a rat. There's no coming back from being a rat. Henceforth, you're in the Flow Rider League. Because after you made the mess, you let your thing off pause first. You threw things into the crowd. The crowd threw back at you, and then you told the cops. All the thing is, maybe a lot of y'all probably didn't live in a ghetto like we did, or don't have friends like we do who live a certain life and understand the code of ethics. He threw first. He backed out first. You can't run to the cops after you do that.
Right.
You're a cop, you're a rat, and I'm not supporting none of it. Because if he was a victim, why you ain't gonna tell the Babylon when you got peed on in the movie theater? You ain't tell Len? Huh? Why you ain't gonna tell?
It was just his leg, remember.
It don't matter.
It was only his leg.
Just a splash.
It don't matter. You had T.R. rhyming about it. You got peed on. You ain't running the cops when you and Chris Brown was getting to it in the club. Y'all got sued, but y'all didn't run to the cops. But now you run into the legalities when you lose a battle because you thought you were insulated from the smoke. You thought you could come out the sunroof, do whatever, and the commission, we're gonna call it, the powers would insulate you. I can't support it. You're a rat. You're a cop. I don't got nothing more to say. I don't care if he's right. You're a rat. We'll do it. If he ends up being right, we'll deal with Kendrick when that time comes. But at the end of the day, you're a fucking rat. And I don't got nothing more to say, fellas.
That's it, man.
You know what I mean? We gonna get to these super chats. Y'all can go back to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shout out to everybody. 780 of y'all in here. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe option. Hit the notification bell. Please run those numbers up. Keep us in the algorithm. Go ahead, Sam.
Sorry, and to be clear, because I didn't address this, but Jarv did pose a question as the biggest Kendrick fan at this table. If any part of this, and first of all, the paternity thing again, like, who cares? What does that matter? But
that's nasty.
If it does come to light that there was some type of domestic violence thing, if they work through it as a family, they're still together, they're a happy family. You know what I mean? Never in a million years will I ever support any sort of putting hands on a woman. You know what I mean? I'll be clear about that. And if it does come out that Kendrick, did some along those lines, we'll talk about it at that point. But as May said, because he cooked, if this is, many years ago and they've worked through it as a family and they're still a family unit and they've, had their kids and everything's good with them, that's their business at that point. You know what I mean? Again, like I think it was what May said, we're not seeing this like happen in real time. We're not seeing like, Whitney come out on Instagram with bruises and whatnot. Like it would still be shitty, but like there's context to everything. And if they've worked through it, they've worked through it. That's their business, none of mine.
That part right there. And then the era of people, not that I ain't trying to call her character into question, but if that did go down, what would Whitney gain from staying quiet? And especially in this political climate. Something to think about.
Right.
Let's get to these super chats. T-Mac with a $20 holler off the rip says, God meeting is going to catch the replay. Mace, will you tell Laurie not all men need paternity tests to know who the father is? Just because he needed multiple paternity tests doesn't mean Kendrick needs a single one. Wow.
Yikes.
Oof.
That's off the top rope.
Yeah. The company man pointed out paperwork seeks Drake's criminal connection history, if any, while looking for allegations, rumors about any of Kendrick's criminal activity. Gonna continue to enjoy the music out now. Yeah. It's gonna get nasty, bro. Like,
yeah.
I guess he's confident. He feel like his hands is not dirty, but you got guys like Top 5 who don't know how to play this political game, and he be sometimes dropping little nuggets or having DM conversations with academics, and things get out that way. So it's like was Top 5 even gang, or was he just brought into the loop for aesthetics? Right. You know what I mean? But we'll talk about that at a later date. Mm-hmm. Jackson Carter with a $10 holler says Drake doesn't care what people say. He's a GOAT. He just wants to embarrass Kendrick, who named his kids first. Kendrick didn't name his kids first.
I'm glad, yes. Even if he did, the answer is not, you know what I'm saying? If you feel offended that Adonis got mentioned, the answer ain't let's mention Kendrick's kid. That's gross.
I mean, Meet the Grams dropped again infamously, like 15 minutes after
That's what I'm saying. So Drake by timeline, Drake is still guilty.
Within the court case, because the Drake fans are trying to make the case like, oh, who cares that Kendrick's kid is being brought to court when he was saying this about Adonis. I'm saying if you know what I'm saying, like that doesn't make sense.
Man. Fuck out of here, man. Like your man made his bed. All y'all Club Paradise ass niggas can eat a Frank B. LP with a $2 holler says, shout out Macito. My man needs a black and mild. That's crazy. LP said you was wearing a do-rag with no hair. Like, LP.
Wow.
LP.
Sheesh.
You know.
I got it from Onyx though.
All right.
Do the
Word.
knowledge.
Ariel Smoke says, with a $5, I can't wait for Iceman to thaw out and Mace has a defendant. This has been a great 2 years. Drake and Bills fans experiencing hell. I love it. Hey, you know, Macito unflappable, in my opinion. Chaos Forever says, "Sup, fam? All Aubrey needs is wow."
That's your burner, Ariel Smoke?
That's crazy. Ariel Smoke says, "Labretta was the first to bring up his history with young girls in AI Pac's voice. That indicates he's aware of the whispers around his name pre-battle. That's a caveat."
Yeah.
Down with Dixie. I always want to call him Down with Dixie. It's Down in Dixie. Aubrey gave Kendrick the angle in push-ups, then bragged about giving him the angle pause. Giving him the angle just feel crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? The hard part sticks. Now he's suing because Kendrick used the angle. He's not a victim. He's just stupid. Ding, 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 ding.
You are dumb, bro.
The fake kid. Nah, this is a crazy name. Thank you for the $5. Drake is becoming a Weird Al of hip hop. I'm not reading that name. That's a crazy name. The homie Zig, home team, says his fans don't make it any better condoning the BS minus Mace. Drake is a clown forever. That's what Macito really in peril right now. You know what I mean? I want to hear what Maul got to say. How you gonna defend this one? Beach Boy Low says Drake played with fire and got burned, then took the same match and proceeded to run and then continued to burn the house down. Dead ass.
Word.
Last but not least, Sean Bentis' job said everything that needs to be said. Drake is a rat. Yeah. The end.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The end, bro.
End.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing else to talk. I don't care about him being a rat.
Bro.
He's a fucking cop. He's a rat. The
he
end.
did a lot of hits, but he's still told in the end, bro.
The end, bro. Macito, since you started this off and you did a hell of a job navigating this BS without getting any smart of your name, we request that you take us home and wrap this lunch hour up.
Shit, shouts to Dini to balance. You know what I mean? He gotta make the bread today. You know what I mean? But he's disgusted too. I'm sure of it. He walked in the rain to see Kendrick. You gotta believe that. Shouts to Sincere the Rap Snob, super producer. Follow him, Sincere Beats. He makes beats. Shouts to Jaw, the GOAT. You know what I mean? Of this pod shit. A legend in about 5 games. I'm losing count. I'm Macito. You know what I mean? I talk a lot, but I know even more. We are the Rap Roundtable. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. You know what I mean? Run back every episode that you can. And you know what I mean? We out of here. Goodbye. Appreciate y'all.
Salute to y'all.